Hey guys, it's Tara. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to travel on a budget. So we all want to travel, it's the big dream, but the catch is that traveling is really expensive. So I'm going to share my tips on how to travel on a budget and get to see all the places you want without totally going broke. Okay, so step one is always to do your research. You should research everything in life, but especially when it comes to traveling, you need to research the places you want to go for several reasons. Even if you're not trying to budget, you need to research the places you're going to visit and your schedule and how you're just going to map it all out. But when you're really trying to stay on a budget and save as much money as possible, it's important to research absolutely everything to make sure that you're getting the best deals and the best experience possible. So for instance, if you're gonna go abroad and you want to travel, let's say like 2 or 3 countries for as little money as possible, then obviously you need to research the places you're gonna go, how you're gonna get there, and how you're gonna spread out your expenses so that you can do that. You're gonna look up museums and how much it costs to go to them. Then also you need to look up which museums are free, or are there free events, or is there an event one day where you can pay for a ticket to a museum that also includes dinner, or it includes this other event as well. You want to make sure that you're just getting as much as possible for as little as possible. Research is important for so many reasons. You want to make sure you're packing the right things. So if you're going to go to Paris in the summer, then you need to know that that's not really their hot season because it's an entirely different continent from the US. You need to know what to pack. It's a little bit chillier there. So if you don't pack a light jacket, you're gonna have to go buy one, and that's an expense you shouldn't have to pay when you're trying to be on a budget. After you've done your research and you know where you wanna go, you know the things you wanna try and do, you have to compare prices for literally everything. So obviously for certain things you can't compare prices, there's only one Louvre, but you can compare prices for hotels, for restaurants, for travel, and most importantly for airfare. So just make sure to compare everything. Even if it makes you feel like a cheapskate, that is totally fine. The important thing is that you're getting to see something you've always wanted to see and getting an experience that means a lot to you for as little as possible. And so like with hotels, when you compare those prices, look at the amenities. So, you could stay at a 5-star hotel. 5-star hotels are great. But at the exact same time, a 3-star hotel is just as good, because if you're traveling somewhere and you're not gonna be in the hotel room a lot, it doesn't matter that you have a jacuzzi tub in there. That's not gonna make or break your experience. The important thing is that the beds are clean, it's in a safe neighborhood, and it's not gonna cost you a ton of money. Okay, so after you've compared prices, something else you really should consider is whether or not you should take an airplane at all. It's not always an option depending on where you're going and where you're coming from, but for the most part, you can get a train just about anywhere. Personally, I've taken the train from here in Little Rock all the way to Chicago. And yes, it took quite a bit longer than just flying, but I also got to see some really pretty landscapes, and then it started snowing, and it was just this really great experience to sit on a train with a book I wanted to read and to watch the snowfall in these states that I never would have seen had I been on a plane. And the best part is that trains are so much cheaper. The reason I took a train that time was because a plane ticket for a one-way ticket to Chicago was $400, and I was in college. A train ticket cost me $120. That saved me so much money, and it was also around Christmas time, so I got to actually buy presents for people. Definitely consider that. If you can get a train from the East Coast to the West Coast instead of driving it or flying, you're gonna see so much more, and it's just a really cool experience, especially if you're in college and you still have homework that you need to be doing, or even if you're working and you wanna get some work done. That's what I did. I finished up a final paper because I took a day off early from finals, and I got all my homework in on time, and I saved a ton of money. Trains are actually a really big thing in Europe for a reason. It's a super affordable way to travel across that continent. So if you're trying to fly over there, obviously you can't skip the plane like I said, but you can take a train from Paris to wherever else, or just the outside of Paris. You can go to Germany, and those tickets are super cheap because they run those trains so often, and you get to see so much. You get to see the landscapes, and then you get to stop at all these really cool little towns and in these other countries and see so much more than you would if you flew. And instead of driving, yourself, you get to relax, you don't get lost. It's just such a great experience. I really recommend it. You're basically gonna feel like Harry Potter if you ride a train through Europe, I think, and really that's a win-win. Number 4 is to travel with your friends. This is probably the best tip. It's the most fun tip for sure, because who doesn't want to take a trip and share it with people that you care about? Whether or not you're going, to a different country, or if you're just trying to go, to New Orleans or something, split the trip with your friends. You can take a car together and split the gas and split snacks and split the driving. You can split a hotel room. You can go out to eat and split whole meals. So instead of spending $20 on a meal that you're not going to finish yourself because the portions are so large, you could just split it with a friend. You both spend about $10 and you don't overeat. And there won't be leftovers that you're like, oh, I have nowhere to put this, so I'm staying in a hotel room. Definitely travel with friends and family too. You know, if you have a sibling and you both want to go on a cross-country trip to like the Grand Canyon, go together, plan it out, split costs. And it's so much easier to pack that way too. You know, you can each bring half of what you need instead of bringing all of it on your own. And you have better memories. That's probably the best part. Okay, number 5, and this doesn't seem like a big one, but it actually really adds up. Do not spend money on useless trinkets. I know when you travel that the first thing you want to do is commemorate the event. You want something that you can take home and be like, yes, this reminds me of this amazing trip I had. But if you're buying touristy crap, that's not a good use of your money. It's not worthwhile in any way, and it might remind you of the trip, but honestly, like within like a few months, you're like, why did I buy this junk? So instead of spending that on bumper stickers or a t-shirt that says Los Angeles or I love New York, just take photos. You have a phone, you already pay for it. Take pictures of the things. Take pictures of yourself in front of all those silly things that you think you're gonna regret later, but it doesn't matter. Just take those pictures. It's already free. You can get home and print them out for like 10 cents a copy at Walmart, and it's so much cheaper. And then you can just hang them up. No big deal. Literally the lowest cost you can imagine. I really recommend it. And something else to consider if you really want like a memento to take home, and if you're on like a cross-country thing. I mean, if you're going to the Grand Canyon, pick up a rock. That's what I would do. Put that on your mantle. That's cool. Big. I got that from the Grand Canyon. So those are my tips for budget travel. To recap really quick, do your research. Always research everything. Compare prices on everything. Skip the plane if you can. Split the cost with your friends. And then don't spend money on useless shit. So I really hope these tips help. I hope you get to see all the amazing places you dreamed of for way less money. And as always, please like this video, follow us, and head to Earn, Spend, Live for more information.